This is the Mooncast. Today I really want to talk about NFT Books, and this is a Web3 platform that allows anybody to trade books peer-to-peer, and they also have a bunch of different options. So I just really want to get into it and dissect this project because I think it's very revolutionary in what they're doing. And I remember a few years back when I started discovering NFTs and what they are, and I started looking into the use cases and the potential implementations that could be leveraged, in different business models. And so it's crazy to see that some of the ideas that I had a few years ago are starting to become a reality now, like you see now with NFT Books. So we'll just jump right into it right now real quick. Right now I'm on the nftbooks.info, which is their website, right? So it says NFT Books is a project about NFT for ebooks, books, magazines, articles, literature, and poems, right? NFT Books is a revolutionary way to read books. Our groundbreaking project leverages the power of NFTs to bring affordable and accessible ebooks, magazines, articles, literatures, and poetry to readers around the world. With the NFT BS, you can unlock a whole new world of literature and art that's just waiting to be discovered, right? So you can join us in this exciting journey by transferring the world of book reading, right? So when you scroll down on their website, you can see the cheaper to cheapest, the fair share to everyone, and just kind of explaining basically the entire landscape of their value proposition and why it's different from traditional Web2 project like Amazon, who takes 30%. People don't know that Amazon takes 30% of the revenue share from creators, from authors, and I don't like that at all. And I think that they're getting a little bit too cocky and a bit greedy, in that regard. And I like more of these, again, decentralized shared economy type of models, right? And so when you're scrolling down and you're looking at, they give you different outlets that you can use to earn and participate in the network, right? You can be an author, right? And if you're an author, a copyright holder, or a journalist, you can publish your work on the NFT book system and become an author, right? So that's a level of category that you can explore, right? So when you're looking at the translator portion, right? So you can become a translator, a reader, a leaser, right? And an investor too as well. And you can see here the token distribution that they had. Right, so they have a large liquidity pool that they're going to leverage for marketing. And then they also have they have 20% for marketing, 55% for the liquidity pool for the rewards that you get for the read to earn model that they have implemented. They just recently moved over from Binance Smart Chain to Polygon, which I think is a really good move because I think Binance Smart Chain is way too centralized. And I'm not sure about how they will hold up long term due to regulation because they're not fully decentralized and they don't have that full capability to just kind of there's someone that you can attack, right? I mean, it's similar to the same as kind of with Polygon, but Polygon I believe is a little bit more decentralized than Binance. But anyways, moving on, you can see the token supply that they have. And they also have a burn wallet too as well. So for every transaction, they're burning a percentage of the transaction. So it's deflationary over time. And when you scroll down here on the website, you can see that they have strategic partners, right? And so when you're looking at it, you see CoinMarketCap, you see Certic. So they are Certic audited, right? Which is one of the top auditing firms in crypto, right? So that's legit. Then you see AWS and a few others too as well, Book Hunter and so on and so forth, right? And then you can contact them too as well. And yeah, so that's basically it for their info website, right? But then when you go over to their apps, right? So let's just go over, let's look, and we can see here on their app, it says here the vision of NFT Books, right? So it says NFT Books was founded with the vision of becoming a leader in the industry of publishing books. The platform addresses persistent difficulties such as copywriting and pricing. The books are directly delivered to users without a third-party intermediary. And NFT Books wants everyone to have the access to read any content available in the world, as well as protecting, supporting authors to increase their income to secure their life. The NFT Books team is taking that as a criterion to protect or to perfect the product day by day, right? And so when you're scrolling down on their website, this is apps.nftbooks.info. You can see here that you can publish a book on their platform and then basically have a certain amount of mints, and you can designate a certain time for those mints to be bought by the community, right? And basically what I did, because I actually became one of the first 100 authors, top 100 authors to mint their book as an NFT on the Polygon blockchain, right? Which is revolutionary, guys. This is amazing. And as we continue to bend the shape of reality and change the way things are done, right, in a more decentralized, more inclusive, more transparent environment, this has been a dream of mine to be able to do something like this. And I think with the evolution of NFTs, we're going to see capabilities for us to be able to one day put podcasts on as NFTs and movies and TV shows exclusively as NFTs. And that way people won't be able to pirate movies and there won't be copyright infringement and stuff like this will go away, because when you encrypt things and mint them on chain, they're trackable and you can leverage the capability of the smart contract to implement royalties. So every time that thing moves, you're able to be paid, and you no longer have to worry about tracking and tracing your intellectual property across the web, which is damn near impossible. So this is a really good in-house solution to help creators in general, not just NFTs. When you're just looking at it from a broad perspective, right? You can even see there's so many examples with where NFTs can be leveraged. If you're looking at it from a longer term perspective, there'll be eventual implementations for, let's say, for instance, for YouTube, right? Say you're grossing $100,000 in revenue from Google AdSense and maybe other things every single year from YouTube. You can then issue out, let's say, 1,000 NFTs, and those people who hold the NFTs get 10% in totality of the revenue that you're making, right? Now, why would you do that type of thing? Well, you would do that because now your success is their success and their success is your success, because basically they are incentivized to like and share your content, right? Because the more value that you extract, the more profits you make, the more profits that they make, right? In this sort of shared responsibility of the network, or in this case of the channel type of model. And it's also better to issue it as an NFT too, because now you're issuing out a form of ownership, digital ownership, that anyone can participate around the world in. So now you're expanding your business model from, let's say, KYC only, like people, let's say, that's only in the US or only in Australia, or only people with a digital with an ID, to globally, so anyone can participate, anyone can buy and hold it, and you just need to connect your wallet, buy the NFT. And so people who are, for instance, sanctioned right now, who don't have the capabilities or the access to global markets, if you're looking at like a Russia, or you're looking at a Palestine or Iran, or these type of areas where it's harder for them to get access to global liquidity, well, this is a way to bypass that, right? So you can bypass that leveraging the NFT. But back to NFT Books, as you can see, you can publish the NFT, right? And then you can trade NFT Books too as well. And like I said, I'll just walk you guys through how I did it with the publishing, right? So when you click publishing here, well, basically it's going to ask you to connect your wallet, right? So you need to download a MetaMask wallet, right? Which is EVM compatible, which is Ethereum virtual machine, right? So any Ethereum virtual machine compatibility tools, or smart contract protocols, right? If you're looking at like a Polygon or like a AVAX or a Moonbeam, and so on and so forth. Binance Smart Chain too, as well as EVM compatible, right? So MetaMask is basically the EVM agnostic universal wallet that everyone uses for EVM chains, Ethereum, Polygon, which is layer 2 scaling solution on top of Ethereum, right? So you download the MetaMask wallet from their official site, and once you do that, then it will give you, generate a seed phrases for you. You keep those seed phrases. If you lose those seed phrases, you lose your crypto, right? And once you've finished that step, then you're all set. Basically, if you download it on the web browser, of course, right? So you have it on the web browser. You go ahead, you click publishing, you connect your wallet, and you go through all the steps. They do have a form of KYC, but it kind of makes sense because of the type of model that they have here. Hopefully that moving forward, they'll make things more decentralized as things progress. But yeah, you go ahead and then you upload your book cover. Once you upload your book cover, then after that, it will ask you to upload your book. You can do it in the form of docx, or you can do it in the form of PDF. And once you have that downloaded, then they go ahead and check it and verify it. The process will become more and more decentralized over time, I'm assuming, right? But this is how it works currently. And then once it's minted, then it'll take you to, once you're verified, it'll take you to the process of basically being able to, you add all description elements, right? The page of how many pages your book is, what's your book about, what's your book called, the subtitle of your book, all the different pertinent data. And then after that, you get to put a launch duration of the mints that you choose. So minting meaning being able to encrypt your book on chain. And so once you mint, or say for instance you want 1,000 mints, that means 1,000 copies of your NFT book, right? That's what I did. Then you have a duration of time in which people can access the book and buy it, right? And then you can relaunch the mints if not all of them are sold within that time frame or that time duration. And so you submit it, and right now the chain, Polygon chain, seems to be a little bit congested, so people have to pay a little bit extra for gas. It's not so much. I think it's like $1 or something like that. But anyways, once it's minted, then that's basically the entire process of how that works. And so if you see here on their website, you can see all the pertinent data that they have here. You see here that they have a partnership, with ISL Publications, right? You can see all the different articles that they've laid out. And so you have to, that's another thing I didn't mention, to buy the NFT, you need to buy the actual tokens that they have, right? So they're NFTBS, that's the ticker symbol for NFT Books, right? You need to buy this on QuickSwap, which is a Polygon DEX, right? And how you access this is, if you're very new to crypto, you would have to go ahead and download a Web2 centralized exchange, right? And you need to buy Polygon Matic, move it into your self-custodial wallet, right? Like a MetaMask, and you move the Polygon tokens or the Matic tokens onto your MetaMask, and then you would need to swap on QuickSwap from Matic to NFTBS, right? And that's basically how that process would go. And once you have enough tokens for gas fees and to be able to buy books and stuff like that, then you're all set. So you just swap your fiat into Polygon Matic on, let's say a Coinbase or a Kraken, a KuCoin, a Gate.io, a Binance, so you download one of these, and once you do that, then you take the Matic tokens and you transfer those into your custodial wallet, which is MetaMask. You then swap the tokens on QuickSwap on the decentralized exchange into NFTBS tokens. And then once you have those tokens, you're able to leverage those tokens for gas fees and to be able to mint your book, or to buy and trade books as well. So when you go here to trade in, you can see the different categories that they have too as well. So they have business economics, they have arts and photography, crafts, hobbies, home, education, studies, and teachings. They have all different types of categories here, as you can see. And you can see also that the top amount of books sold. And you have all the books here, and you can just scroll and check those out. And yeah, that's basically it for to be able to trade. You can also borrow books too as well. So this feature I think is quite interesting. And yeah, so same thing, different categories. You can people who buy the book can lease them out to other people to borrow for a certain amount of time via smart contracts. So that's very, very interesting too. And going back home, when you're looking at so the borrow, the trade, and then so I covered all three. And so moving forward, you can also see the GitHub, right? They're also listed on GitHub, and for devs and stuff like that, that's more technical. Most consumers don't care about this type of stuff. So when you're going and scrolling and looking at their white paper, right? So we can dissect the white paper a bit, right, to just get the entire totality of the landscape of the project, and basically everything that they plan to do, the value proposition of everything they plan to do for this project. So so I'll just read you a little bit of the intro. It says, this project was born to make a profit, but it is the profit of the author, readers, and investors, and to enable authors to sell as many books as they are currently, and still have passive income over time. As long as there are people reading the book, the author will still make a profit, right? The intention is to help readers to read a book at a fraction of the cost without having to spend time searching for pirated books, in turn helping investors both gain profits and contribute to society, right? And yeah, they make a bunch of great points here. I'm not going to read everything, but there is a lot of important information. Like you see here, the history of the modern newspaper publishing started in Germany in 1609, with publishing of magazines following in 1663. The book publishing industry took 400 years to evolve in the market it is today, with the market size of 26.4 billion in the US, right? This slow growth, as well as the slow decline in recent years, lead to the question of whether the sector has become saturated or not. Will the market accept new authors while revenues decline, or suffocate fledgling authors as soon as they're born, right? And so scrolling down, we see basically like they start talking about a little bit about the breaking down the difference in opportunity cost for spending $20 at a family to watch 100 movies versus spending $20 to buy a few books. And so I won't get too much into that. When we look into their ecosystem though, right, and this is what we want to really break down. So when you look at it, it says each author becomes his or her own publisher. This can reduce a lot of costs when enabling authors to reach users, right? Publication is completely free to the author, but of course, well, it's free minus the gas fees from the Polygon network, right? And also a little bit of the minting fees that you pay to NFT BS. But of course, the published books will be selected by the community. Since the project is built on crypto, it will be decentralized, right? And no individual can negatively influence the publication of a book. The author becomes our first audience. This audience is entitled to book publishing commissions on transactions or they have a little bit of typo here, transactions to the books they publish, right? This audience is entitled to book publishing and commissions on transactions related to the books they publish, right? And then you have the leaser, right? And so the leaser, the second audience is the leaser, right? And so this person buys books from authors, right? As I previously stated, right? And they make a profit by leasing out the book rights they own or reselling their books to others, right? And so, that's basically how they make their money. And so this is another interesting way, and another form of way for people to earn, right? In these like advanced read to earn type models in this shared economy ecosystem, right? And when you're going to the reader and borrower section, right? So it says this is the audience that receives the largest macro value from the project. The bigger the NFT books becomes, the more readers can borrow books at an increasingly cheaper prices, right? Because of the level of competition, right? So if you have more leasers, right? You have more people that are leasing out their book that they bought, well, then the pricing will become competitive and it will decrease the value over the course of time as more people buy the books and start borrowing at least an amount, which, like they said, in turn makes it cheaper in terms of prices and more competitive pricing, right, than Amazon, for instance, right? And so it says an increase in the number of readers means an increase in the authors' profits, because the more people read their books, the more commission they earn, exactly, through the royalties, right, via the smart contract. And so investor, holder, and trader. So this is another avenue you can take too as well. These are the people who want to support the project, whether they join the project for the purpose of supporting the community or investing for their own benefit. They are worthy of respect. All other audiences belong to this audience. People can use tokens to rent books, buy books, or publish books, right? And so it's the person that's holding, and holders, if I'm not mistaken, they receive around 2% from each transaction that's made on the platform, right, from peer-to-peer, in this sort of redistribution type of model, right? And also there's a percentage of that gets burned from each transaction as well. So there will be less and less tokens over time in this tokenized economy, meaning that if the supply is decreasing in this deflationary type of burn mechanism model, then over the course of time, the idea is that more people that join the platform will inevitably help to increase the price of the platform or of the token, right? Because there's more people joining, there's more transactions being done on the network, there's more tokens being burned, which means it's out of circulation completely. And over time, there should be price appreciation, right? And that's the idea. So it says, obviously, there are many benefits to using the token in our ecosystem. This will help reduce the supply as more and more people need to buy NFT books tokens, right? Exactly. So another avenue you can take is become a translator, right? So if it is said that NFT books is the bomb that damages the pirated book market, translator is the fear that helps the NFT books bomb to completely destroy this market. They make books and authors accessible to anyone in any language and in any region, right? So that's the idea of becoming a translator, right? They need to register with the author on the system to be able to publish the translation, right? There will be no need to worry about the quality of the translation because the community of readers will help you evaluate that, right? So if the translation quality is poor, people will notice, right? And so in this sort of shared responsibility to network type of model, and the people will decide and maybe have some kind of voting mechanism via all the token holders to see what's quality, what's not quality, and obviously also too they have reviews on the website too as well that you can check and see what books are also quality, what books are not quality. And it says here too, the translator makes the same profit as the author, right? But the value they get is determined by the author because the author is the heart of the book. The translator is the one who brings that heart love to everyone in the world. Author set the commission to decide from the beginning what level of commission the translator will receive. This value can only be set when the contract between them is made, helping to stabilize fairness and clear understanding, right? And so basically that relationship will be built within the translator and the author. So it's cool. So a lot of people basically have these could be potential side hustles for people, right? Or if the network grows like to how they plan it to, where you're having a valuation that's $500 million, $1 billion, and so on and so forth, as more value accrues within the network, well, the people will be incentivized to join to be able to have some of the profits from this shared economy type of model, right? And yeah, so moving forward to talk a little bit about the purpose. So it says so since our aim for this project is to this doesn't really make any sense. So it says that okay, so let's scroll down here. So it says, true to blockchain's decentralization ethos, everyone is equal. There will come a time when there is no longer a capacity to develop the project or for the project to become too large. The project will be taken over by genius engineers with interest in the community, with the sole purpose of creating a library of books that the poorest, the most destitute people can still read at any time. As long as they continue to seek knowledge, knowledge will be waiting for them, right? And so that's the idea. And so hopefully they're able to get and achieve this goal. And they do have a roadmap too as well. Let me go back here to their website before we continue with the white paper, because I did want to take a look at their roadmap and see the development, right? So they did have targets. Some of them they weren't able to achieve. They did get the CertiK audit. They targeted 50,000 holders. I'm not sure if they have that many. If you look, I think that on chain, it says that they have. Let me refresh this. Let's just see. Let's have a look on chain what it's saying. So yeah, so on chain they didn't achieve the goal of the amount of holders they wanted, because on chain it says they have 6,231 addresses. So we'll get back to on chain, because I'll help you guys a little bit read and understand a little bit of how to understand the chain analysis, right? To make a better, more educated decision when investing in projects and so on, right? So when you're looking at the white paper, right? So back to the white paper. So it says, so this was launched on the Binance Smart Chain in June 2021, but as I don't know if I previously stated already, but they did migrate in February to Polygon, right? So the max supply is 100 quadrillion, but I think if you look on chain, I think it's changed, right? So let's see, I think it's 100 trillion now, right? So they did change the token supply. It was different before, but yeah, they modified it a little bit, right? Yeah, so they completed the security audit. It will be the default. So NFT BS token will be the default used currency for to create, claim, buy, and sell NFT BS. And the source code has been audited by a third-party firm to give our holders confidence, right? And yeah, so they talk a little bit about Binance Smart Chain, the low transaction fees. But anyways, they switched over to Polygon, which also has low transaction fees for the most part, right? Yeah, and then you can just check and see their roadmap. Here it is. So this is the roadmap from the white paper, and it shows all the different steps they're at. Let's just scroll a little bit. I don't want to read and get too much into all of this. This is quite a lot of things, but I want to see. Okay, so it only goes to 2022, so we can look a little bit at the 2022. Let's see where they're at. So they did want to have up to 1 million holders, which they weren't able to achieve yet. 50,000 Telegram members they don't have. They have, I think, around like 13K when I checked. I'm a member in the Telegram group, and they wanted to be in multiple centralized exchange listings. I think they are only listed on a decentralized exchange. I think only QuickSwap from what I saw on CoinMarketCap. We can have a look again and see, but yeah, it says only QuickSwap here. But yeah, so this is basically the roadmap, right? So when you're looking at it, you see all the different things they're trying to implement, right? They added a mechanism to deduct percent rewards for authors, translators when someone borrows a book, build a voting system to evaluate book quality, right? I'm not sure if this has been already done, and building a voting system to evaluate the quality of translations, building a system against frauds. So this is probably going to be a DAO, right? This is how I'm dissecting this. This is more than likely they're going to turn the protocol into a DAO or have some sort of DAO model, right? Decentralized autonomous organization, right? And so the marketing campaigns are still conducted in parallel through the project construction period, right? And then here you can see how you can contact them. You see the website they have. You can check their Twitter, and then also as well you can check their Telegram. And yeah, so here's also their email too as well, that you can contact them. And yeah, that's pretty much the white paper to break it down for you guys. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this project, man. I think they have a lot of potential because they're actually offering real world use case, right? Because there's a lot of authors that don't want to pay 30%. Then you also got to look at authors who can't even get access to Amazon, right? To have access to that audience, and because of KYC or whatever, right? And so it makes things a lot better when you can come up with a model that has less friction, where people can easily mint their book on chain and be able to sell it to a global audience, right? Instead of restricting that audience to only who a Web2 project at the top of that organizational hierarchy says who and who cannot participate in their platform, right? So it's a different type of model. And so when you go to CoinMarketCap, right, let's break down NFT Books CoinMarketCap, right? So you see the Polygon contract addresses here, right, as they've already migrated, and you see they have the CertiK audit too as well, and you see the market cap is very tiny, guys. It's like 7 million, which is absolutely crazy, right? So if this thing were to do a 100x, it wouldn't even be $1 billion in market valuation, right? And at the peak of the bull run, in the top 100 coins, I want to say top 150 coins at the peak of the bull run, something like that, were $1 billion and plus in terms of market cap valuation, right? Market capitalization, right? And so 7 million is really, really tiny. And so it has a lot of room for the upside. There's not a lot of trading volume because they need to diversify the exchanges that you can trade this token for. Right now, you can only get it on QuickSwap. And so once they start to diversify the the exchanges that provide liquidity so that people can trade, I think that the volume would pick up, right? So when you're looking at the overview, so we can go look at the overview, we can check the charts. They've been around since I think 2021, right? So when we're checking the charts and we're looking and seeing the charts, right, you see this thing started exploding as of recent, right? I don't know how accurate this chart is. Maybe I might need to look on CoinGecko, but yeah, you guys get the idea. It's still very tiny market cap is the point, right? So yeah, this is basically everything that you need to know. This looks like the information here hasn't been up to date yet. Some of the stuff isn't as accurate as you would like to see, but yeah, so once this gets updated, I can give a little bit more details, maybe on a follow-up podcast or something like that. But anyways, let's move on and we can go to the team, right? So this is what I wanted to get to, right? So they are doxed, right? You can see the co-founder CEO. He actually liked my LinkedIn post, right? So I did make a LinkedIn post about the project. Maybe I'll read it to you guys a bit later, but the point is, and the idea is that they're completely doxed, right, guys? So they're not hiding from anyone, right? They're completely out, open in the public. You can check out their LinkedIn profiles. I've checked out Chow Wynn's LinkedIn profile. Vikram Soni, I actually talked to him. He actually helped me with the minting process too as well. Very, very nice guy. Very good admin. Yeah, so the guys on the team are very, very, very nice. The entire community is very, very helpful. And I see this project having a lot of potential in the future. But yeah, you guys, you can see this is completely open knowledge. So just things to think about when you're dissecting the project. And I will say, in terms of competition, there is one other project that I know of that's doing an NFT Books platform, and it's on Cardano. It's called book.io, right? And they haven't released anything of significance in regards for indie authors, right? They do have stuff where you can buy and sell books that they're choosing, but it's not open yet to where anyone can just go and mint their book. It's not as open as this, and they don't have the indie author section yet laid out, right? So I'm still waiting for that. I might do some diversification, right? I want to get it to as many distributors as possible. But this is quite interesting. So guys, I just really want to quickly read what my LinkedIn post said, right? Because I hope maybe it gives you guys a little bit of motivation, right? So I said, today I did the unthinkable and launched my book as an NFT. I'm one of the first 100 authors to do it on the Polygon blockchain. This is a monumental moment in history as we continue to push for more decentralized models that take power away from big tech oligopolies and redistribute the power back into more fair, inclusive, transparent, and decentralized models. I want to thank NFT Books for helping me get this done as we continue to bend the shape of reality as pioneers. I'll be dropping my latest podcast, which is what I'm doing right now, on NFT Books on Monday, right? Which is what I'm literally doing right now. So people have asked me what my book is about. So here's a brief summary, right? So it's a book about different societal constructs, i.e. technology, love, beauty, death, misogyny, misandry, school, war, and etc. I try to attack constructs from different angles and viewpoints people may not be looking at from my perspective and the perspective of others. Each construct is written in a creative way. One construct might be in a poem format, the next may be in a script, the next may be a list, but it's to provoke thought. I don't like calling it a book, but a reflective piece of provocative art. Books, air quotations, are written all the same in the same format. Why? Who designed that construct? I want to challenge it and push the agenda. Maybe I'll inspire somebody to take it to an even greater level. We shouldn't be put in a box. I named it "Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling" because I wanted to let the reader think for themselves what is a troll, and is the author, or in this case, Art Thor, right? I call myself an Artor. Is he trolling, right? Is he serious? Are we all just trolls? What is the meaning of trolling in this new digital age? But yeah, it was inspired by the death of Kobe Bryant. That guy changed my life. He inspired the last chapter of Death, which was actually the first construct I actually wrote when I started. That one was the hardest one to write because it was very deep, and I wrote a construct on what it means to be a father. Those two made people feel a lot, and it was intended. But yeah, to sum it all up, I want to touch as many people as I can and provoke thought in an artistic fashion. That's why I don't consider myself an author, but an artor. Hope this helps, and if any creators are tired of giving Amazon 30%, just know that we have options and we can vote with our resources and allocating them elsewhere, right? So yeah, that was my LinkedIn post, guys. I hope you guys got some value out of that, right? And it's very, very powerful stuff, what we're doing here and what we're trying to build, you know. People build things, then the people decide if it's valuable and start using those things. You gain the users, and then that's how things explode. That's how things grow. So we can vote again. We can allocate those resources to things that we value more, you know, and we don't need to get robbed by these centralized Web2 companies that don't, you know, they only care about their bottom line. I mean, every project technically cares about their bottom line, but if at least you do it in a more decentralized fashion, people have more sovereignty over their data, more sovereignty over their intellectual property, and they have more of a say within the community, you know. And that's what I like about decentralization and tokenization type of models, right? It's just a lot different. But yeah, when you look at the Polygon scan, right? So I'll just give you guys a brief rundown, kind of how to read the Polygon scan, right? So when you're looking at it, you can see here it says the fully diluted market cap is around 9 million, right? 9.3 million, right? And then you see here the total supply is 100 trillion, right? So it's not quadrillion. And you always look on chain because it's to verify everything, because it makes more sense, right? You see the amount of token holders, 6,231, right? And you look on the right side, you can see the contract address, right? So this is the official contract address. Anything else is a scam, right? And then you see they have the official website here and all the little socials here that you can see all here, right? All public knowledge that you can have a look at to verify, right? And that's polygonscan.com, where you basically can get the contract. You get the contract here, right, from CoinMarketCap. All right, so you see the copy address, and then when you go to polygonscan.io, you simply just implement the token address here, and then will pop this up, right? And then you can look and see the amount of holders. You can have a look at the percentages, right? So this is the liquidity pool, right? And this is the burn wallet, right? You can see it says null. Yeah, so this address can't be accessed, right? So once these tokens go here, they're burned completely and can't be accessed, right? And you see here the value that's already been burned is around 2.2 million, right? Already of tokens that have been burned. That you see the NFT Books deployer address here, and then yeah, these look like looks like a dev wallet here, and then the rest is just community, right? And so yeah, you can see all the top token holders. You can get a little bit of info as well, right? You can see the transfers that are happening on chain. So I'll just show you guys a little bit that you see the transaction hash, which is the ID that's tagged to the blockchain, right? And then you see here from this address to this address, 4 minutes ago, this quantity went to this address, right? To the to address, and you can see the claim. And yeah, so yeah, I don't want to get too much into the breakdown, but it's kind of how you kind of read the chain. It's not too complex, guys. But yeah, another thing too I wanted to talk about, right, is this article here where it's talking about our public libraries in decline, right? So I think this article is a little bit, it's quite interesting. So I just wanted to read a little bit of it. I don't want to get too much into it, but let's just go. And it says, there's a little question that public libraries today are a vital institution, a point being driven home in a crucial fashion as libraries around the country are forced to close, right? This is in the UK, right? So in the Freckle Report 2020, Tim Coates offers a sobering, data-driven view of the state of public libraries in the US and the UK, right? So if you see here, the Gallup poll reports that representatives said they visit public libraries 10.5 times a year, but IMLS, Institution of Museum and Library Services data, which comes directly from every U.S. library, reports that in the U.S. people visit libraries about 4.1 times a year. And in the IMLS data published in July 2019, which is entirely consistent internally and from year to year, shows a steady decline in physical library visits of about 3% each year for the past 7 years. Discrepancies between the Gallup poll and IMLS data needs to be explained. It is too big not to matter. They can't both be right. Yeah, so there's a little bit of, I just wanted to sort of bring to light, this is what I think, right? So I think that because when I go into the US and I see certain libraries that used to exist not exist anymore, and when I start looking at the landscape of physical copies of books declining as ebooks becomes more and more prevalent as we move forward, and also just digital consumption overall. If you look at YouTube, you look at podcasting, those industries. If you're looking at audiobooks and stuff, I think that this is where we're headed because of the lack of time that people have, and the attention spans getting so smaller and smaller in reduction. I think that we're entering a space where libraries physically are going to be phased out. Also, when you have access to all the information on your phone, by just Googling whatever you need to Google, it doesn't really make sense to actually walk or take time to go somewhere to library to sit down to read something. When you can also flip it into maybe a lot of times an audiobook, right? Now we have AI software where we'll maybe be able to package entire books and just move them into audio completely. Even if they're not already having official audio, you could do it yourself if it's an ebook. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind, but this is kind of how I'm looking at it, how I'm looking at things. From a long-term perspective, I think in the next 20 years or so, physical libraries will be phased out completely. I could be wrong, but this is just my assumption, right? So when you're looking here, there's another thing I wanted to showcase to you guys, right? So it says here, this article says, the Institute for Museum and Library Services, right? So the IMLS, again, Public Library Survey, the PLS, data finds that over the past decade, there has been non-trivial decline in visits per capita to libraries nationwide. This is in the US. The PLS data showed that in 2009, Americans visited a library 5.4 times per year on average, right? A decade later, in 2019, attendance dropped to 3.9 visits per year, at a 28% decline. And I think that number is even worse now because the pandemic and everything that we had. I think it's got to be. We're probably looking at, somewhere in the 3, instead of 3.9, maybe the 2.9 visits per year. That's what I'm thinking, right? And it just makes sense, right? If you really think about it, how many people actually, read physical copies of books regularly? There are people that do it, but I'm finding more and more prevalent that people are consuming, stuff more digitally and doing digital consumption, right? Kindle's big, and you have, again, Spotify with the podcast, and, soon, potentially you'll be able to showcase audiobooks. And then you're looking at YouTube, it's a very good educational platform too as well, but this is all video, and obviously you have more short form content too as well. It's becoming more prevalent, and you're looking at like a TikTok or like an Instagram, and people try to package huge data sets and chip them up into little small shorts. I don't really like this type of consumption because you're not getting the full landscape of the entire informative data set that someone is trying to present. But it is something that is very, very interesting. And yeah, I just see it just makes sense to not have the sell the physical copy and put it all digitally, because again, it can be tracked and traced, and you can again encrypt it in on chain. You can mint it on chain and have the royalty feature added to it, so you're credited and don't have to worry about chasing down and tracking down people who are selling your book to secondary markets without your knowledge, right? So this is how I kind of see it. I could be wrong again, but that's just kind of how I'm projecting it, right? Because of the landscape that we're at currently in society. But yeah, moving on. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. There is another thing too I wanted to read to you guys too as well. It's the Yahoo article of my book. I think I'll just close it by just reading the article that was published. This was published on August 8th, 2022. In case you guys are interested in reading my book, I think it's very, very interesting. I've kind of already broken it down to you guys a bit, but I'll just go ahead and read this article from Yahoo. So, New York News File Corp. Venos Idiake, an author, right? Not an author, but an author who blends the lines between art and literature, has announced the forthcoming release of his provocative debut, right? So this is when I released my book, Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling. And the book is part philosophy and part commentary. This book breaks convention in a revolutionary way to challenge the modern reader's beliefs, values, and perceptions, right? So I'm super, super proud of this sort of reflective piece of a provocative art that I've put out into society to sort of challenge the perceptions and values and mindsets of others. But let's just continue in reading this article. It says, partially inspired by a tragic death of Kobe Bryant, Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling reconstructs the very idea of how a book can or should be written and consumed. Each section unfolds in a natural sequence, some told in a long form and others in a loose verse, all according to the author's instincts, right? Unlike traditional works, Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling is an experience instead of purely a form of entertainment. Idiake shepherds the audience through each construct, speaking of dreams, death, and the ever-present search for meaning, right? Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling will resonate with Gen Z and millennials alike. Many of the topics are timeless and universal, prompting readers to consider questions such as, What will it mean to be beautiful 20 years from now? There are no right or wrong answers, since every person will have their own unique relationship with various constructs contained in this book. During an age of changing social structures and norms, the author, like not author, but again, the author, Arthor, hopes to remind the world that tomorrow isn't promised. Ideals are meant to be shared, and dreams must always be protected. This is the heart of Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling. Idiake hopes that this work will help others feel something and view the world a bit differently from before. Yeah, so that's basically it. And so it also, the summing up, the articles at the end just says like, Vanish Idiake is an author, U.S. war veteran, and businessman with a passion for inspiring creative courage in those around him. He's extremely culturally diverse, having visited many countries throughout his lifetime. When he isn't writing, Idiake runs a consulting firm called Moonboy Capital Ventures to teach people about blockchain technology. So you can visit me, of course, online at moonboycapitalventures.com. That's moonboycapitalventures.com. And you can also schedule a consultation with me. And that's, you can write me an email at moonboycapitalventures@gmail.com. If you're looking for, blockchain investment advice, need help setting up a node, a miner, how to earn passive income, what my take on the landscape of the market, help for portfolio structuring or portfolio reconstructing, help you educate you on how to download different digital wallets, understanding GameFi, understanding the different trends that are happening, the market trends that are happening now in crypto, how to trade NFTs, anything you need, all things crypto, I can help. Just email me, send me a email, and we can schedule a consultation, and I can help you guys out. But yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Mooncast, man. Hope it was informative and you've gotten some value out of it, man, and peace.